Andrea. She's one of my good friends and a nurse who's in Catalyst. She was a dedicated nurse with years of experience. And one day she had a job. The next day she didn't. No warning, no security, just gone. I'm Randy Lovelace, and today I need to talk to you about something that nobody in nursing really wants to face. It's the myth of job security. We've been sold this idea that nursing is the most secure career path possible. There's always a nursing shortage. Hospitals always need nurses. You'll never be out of work as a nurse. But Andrea's story and stories of thousands of nurses just like her, they tell a different truth. And if you're counting on your nursing job for security, you really need to hear this. Now, let me tell you about Andrea. She wasn't some new grad who didn't know what she was doing. She had built a solid gold career, honestly. She had experience. She had proven herself valuable to her organization time and time again. She showed up every day. She did excellent work. She went above and beyond. She was exactly the kind of nurse every hospital says they want to keep. And one day, they told her, hey, we don't need you anymore. No warning, no performance issues, no chance to improve anything or transfer to another unit, just a restructuring decision that was made in a boardroom by people who had likely never even met her, never seen her patient care, never witnessed her dedication, her leadership firsthand. Now imagine what that feels like. You've dedicated years of your life, of your career to a hospital. You've sacrificed time with your family, worked holidays, covered extra shifts. You've invested into this organization. You've built relationships with colleagues. You've established yourself. And in one conversation, it's over. You're left wondering, what now? How do I pay my mortgage? What do I tell my family? Do I have to start over somewhere else? Will I find something that pays as much? What if this happens again? And this is where you realize that job security in nursing isn't what you thought it was. You weren't protected by your experience, by your dedication, or your excellent performance. You were a line item on a budget spreadsheet. And when the numbers didn't work out, that line just got deleted. Andrea faced this reality firsthand. And honestly, it could happen to any of us. So let's talk about the lie that we've been sold, that nursing jobs are stable and secure. Yeah, there's often a nursing shortage, but that doesn't protect you. Hospitals regularly lay off nurses while simultaneously claiming they're short-staffed. Now, how does that make sense? Well, it makes sense when you understand that hospitals are businesses. They make decisions based on financial metrics. Not you, not your needs, and really not even patient care needs. If laying off experienced nurses and hiring cheaper new grads is going to improve their bottom line, they're going to do it. And then there's the reorganizations and restructuring. This is corporate speak for we're eliminating positions. It happens constantly in healthcare. Hospital systems merge and eliminate redundancies. That's lingo for nursing losing jobs. Departments get restructured and positions just disappear. Budget cuts can mean layoffs. New leadership comes in with new priorities, and your position is just gone. Remember when nurses were called heroes? Remember the commercials and the lawn signs and all the praise we got. And then remember when thousands of nurses were furloughed or laid off during the pandemic? When hospitals cut staff, even as they claimed to be overwhelmed? That showed the truth. When financial pressures hit, even essential workers, they're not protected. Your nursing job is vulnerable to things completely outside of your control. Hospital financial performance, insurance reimbursement changes, system mergers and acquisitions, leadership changes, department closures, census fluctuations, competing hospitals that might open nearby, private equity buying up your hospital. You could be the best nurse in the world, and none of that's going to matter when the spreadsheet says your position needs to go. And here's something they don't talk about openly. Experienced nurses, you're expensive. You've climbed the pay scale over the years. You earn more than new grads. When hospitals need to cut costs, experienced nurses can become targets because of their salaries. They can replace you with 2 cheaper nurses. Your experience and dedication can actually make you more vulnerable, not less. And one of the hardest parts about Andrea's situation and what thousands of other nurses experience is this total lack of control. You didn't do anything wrong. This isn't about performance. You didn't fail. You didn't get fired 4 calls. You literally did everything right, and it still happened. That's terrifying because it means no amount of hard work or dedication or excellence is going to protect you. The rules you thought you were playing by, they don't actually exist. Instead, your career is in someone else's hands. Every decision about your professional future, it's made by people who don't even know you. Board members you've never met, administrators who probably have never seen you with patients. Maybe consultants who were brought in to optimize and cut costs. Maybe corporate leadership in a whole nother state. Your career, your income, your family security, it's all in their hands, not yours. When you lose your nursing job, your income, it stops. Your healthcare insurance could end quickly. You're competing with dozens of other laid off nurses and new grads for new positions. You might have to take a pay cut to get hired by somebody else. Your retirement contributions, they pause. Your financial plans get derailed. Your family stability can be threatened, all because of a decision you had no say in. Now let's talk about the stress and the uncertainty of that. One of our clients in Catalyst was recently talking about feeling held over a barrel in her nursing job. That constant underlying threat of, if you leave here, what are you going to do? But the reality is, you don't even have to leave. They can make that decision for you at any time. That's not security. That's vulnerability. So what happened to Andrea after she was laid off? Well, she could have panicked. She could have scrambled to find another nursing job and hoped the same thing wouldn't happen again. She could have accepted that her career would always be vulnerable to decisions outside of her control. But she didn't. Andrea faced a choice that every nurse who's been laid off faces, and honestly, that every nurse currently employed should also be considering. Do I get back on the same hamster wheel, or do I take control of my career in a different way? Andrea found legal nurse consulting. She found Catalyst. And she made a decision to never again put her career in somebody else's hands. Andrea joined Catalyst while dealing with the shock and stress of being laid off. She was unemployed. She was uncertain about her future. She had every reason to play it safe and just find another traditional nursing job. But instead, she invested in herself. She learned legal nurse consulting. She built her skills through the practice cases that we offer. She started marketing. And within months, Andrea went from being a laid-off nurse to being a successful legal nurse consultant. See, she wasn't just replacing her income. She was building something sustainable that she was in control of. She started getting cases and more cases. Her business grew because she was excellent at what she did, and attorneys valued that excellence. And then I was lucky enough to snag her, and she became the chief operating officer of my company, Loveless LNC. Not because somebody decided to create a position for her, but because her skills, her dedication, her value, undeniable. Now she's managing multiple $10,000 and $20,000 plus cases routinely. So what does she gain? Now Andrea controls her career trajectory. She has multiple income streams. She works with multiple clients. If one of them stops giving her cases, another is going to continue and pick up. She's truly unlimited her earning potential. She has broken free of the box that nursing puts you in. She has true job security because she owns her own skills. And her business that she works in is stable. And honestly, she can never be laid off from her career as a legal nurse. She's thriving, not despite being laid off, but in many ways because of it. That devastating moment became the fire for creating something better. And here's what Andrea's story teaches us. Real security doesn't come from having an employer. It comes from having skills, systems, income streams that you control. Traditional employment offers the illusion of security, a steady paycheck until there's not one, benefits until your position's eliminated, career progression until the ladder just disappears, retirement planning until you're laid off in your 50s. None of this is actually secure because it can all disappear instantly through no fault of your own. Real security comes from having marketable skills that multiple clients value, truly value. Building relationships with numerous clients and diversifying your income. Creating systems that allow you to scale that income and controlling your own schedule and business decisions. You need to learn to have skills that can't be laid off. And this is what Legal Nurse Consulting provides. It's not just for Andrea. Catherine, one of our other Catalyst clients with 35 years of nursing experience, she made an interesting choice. After going through Catalyst, she chose to take a full-time remote position with a risk management company instead of building her own business. But here's the key. She had options. She had leverage. She wasn't desperate to take whatever job would have her. She had the skills and the training that gave her the power to choose what was right for her life. That's security, having choices. Sarah, another Catalyst client, she was a travel nurse who had back surgery and she couldn't continue her previous path. She could have panicked about how she was going to earn income, but instead she built a legal nurse business. Now she literally travels the world. She was swimming with turtles in the Galapagos Islands while managing her business remotely. And if one attorney client stops sending work, she has others. Her income isn't dependent on one employer's decisions. That's security. Sydney, she's another one of our Catalyst clients. She left a $150,000 a year correctional nursing job after only 4 months in Catalyst. That sounds crazy, right? But she did it confidently because she already had work as a legal nurse consultant. She had proven to herself that she could generate income outside of traditional employment. She had options. She traded false security for real security. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, that won't happen to me, my hospital values me, my position is safe, I need you to understand something. Andrea thought that too. Every nurse who's been laid off thought they were safe. They thought their experience mattered. They thought their dedication would protect them until the day it didn't. And here's what you need to ask yourself. If I lost my nursing job tomorrow with no warning, what would I do? Do I have a backup plan? Do you have skills that could generate income independently? Do you have the systems and the knowledge to control your own career for real for the first time? Or would you be scrambling, panicking, competing with other laid-off nurses for whatever positions might be available out there? The time to prepare for job loss isn't after it happens. It's now, while you still have income and stability. Now, you don't have to quit your job tomorrow, but you should be building something that gives you options, that gives you control, that gives you real security. For Andrea, being laid off was devastating, but it was also the wake-up call she needed to create something better. You don't have to wait for that crisis. You can make the decision now to build real security for yourself. And let me be really clear about what I'm saying here. Your nursing job is not as secure as you think it is. You could be laid off tomorrow, not because you did anything wrong, not because you're not valuable, but because someone in a boardroom made a decision about numbers on a spreadsheet. That's terrifying if you're counting on traditional employment for security, but it's empowering if you use it as motivation to take control of your career. Andrea proved being laid off doesn't have to be the end of your career. It can be the beginning of something better. She went from laid off nurse to chief operating officer of a successful legal nurse consulting company. She's building wealth, not just earning a paycheck. And that's not luck. That is taking control. In Catalyst Coaching and Mentoring, we teach you how to build real career security, marketable legal nurse consulting skills that attorneys are going to value, marketing systems to build multiple client relationships, business systems to scale beyond just your personal efforts, community support as you build your independent career, ongoing mentorship from people like me and others who have built successful practices. In Catalyst, we show you how to transition from vulnerable employee to an empowered entrepreneur. So you have a choice to make. Keep depending on an employer who could eliminate your position at any time, or build skills and systems that give you control of your career. Keep putting your family's financial security in someone else's hands, or take control and build something of your own. Keep hoping you won't be the next Andrea, or prepare now. So even if you are, you'll be ready. So check out our free training, where I show you exactly how to build a legal nurse consulting career that you control, one that can never be laid off because you own it. That link is in the description below. Andrea went from laid off to thriving, from vulnerable to empowered, from employee to COO. Your transformation is waiting too. The question is, will you wait for that crisis to push you, or are you going to take action now? Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.